4, 3, 2, 1.
From New York, where the city that never sleeps reminds us that kids like ours don't either, comes the show that takes rare diseases seriously and everything else, not so much. It's time for PainPoints. Welcome everyone to PainPoints, where each episode we present one example of what makes living in a family with a rare disease painful or difficult. And it's important to note, as always, we're not complaining, just explaining. In this episode, we're taking a look at how hard it can be for parents of kids with a rare disease to have any couples time or date nights. I think my wife and I averaged 2 a year for 10 years. That's fewer public appearances than Richard Simmons. I didn't go through the trouble of getting married so I could have as few dates as I did in my freshman year of high school, or sophomore year, or junior year. A big part of the issue can be finding a babysitter who's up to the task of the more complicated care our kids need. You might get lucky and find the super competent sitter who you can trust 100% with even the most medically complex kid, but they're so competent that eventually they say, "Much as I'd like to keep working for you, I'm off to join NASA and lead the first manned mission to Mars." And on the other hand, you've got the barely conscious babysitter who you would only call when you're most desperate, and who is so out to lunch you probably shouldn't trust them with your pet rock. But even if you've solved the babysitter piece, it isn't easy. We were fortunate to have the same home health care nurse for my son for 8 years. She knew his care backwards and sideways. She was willing to shift her schedule on a Friday or Saturday if we ever summoned enough energy for a date night. It became a joke with her. After she reassured us that 10 p.m. would not be too late to return home, we'd head off to dinner and then be finished and home by 7:30. While this may only prove I'm not a very engaging dinner companion, I think it's rooted in a crisis mindset. With a kid who has chronic complex medical care needs, the parents are always in crisis mode. Out on a date? Good luck thinking about anything other than all the things that might go wrong with your child while you're out. And so we race back home. I even found myself doing this when Lucas was in the hospital. I was very reluctant to leave his room for a walk, let alone go across the street to a restaurant. And logically, this made zero sense. Any other time, my worry would be something will go wrong and he'll need to be rushed to the hospital. But here he was already in the hospital. What better care could I hope for if anything went wrong? Trained medical professionals are exactly the child care I've been hoping to find all along. It would be like holding auditions at your community theater and Samuel L. Jackson reads for a part and you say, "Thanks for coming in, we'll let you know." Please note, I am not suggesting you leave your kids with Samuel L. Jackson. But don't take my word for it. Let's go deeper down the rabbit hole to find out all is not okay with Kaye Weaver.
Date nights. You spend an hour doing your makeup, your hair, your nails. You pick the perfect outfit that is not only weather appropriate, but also flattering and makes you happy. You snap a few selfies to send to your best friend with the text, "date night," and a kissy face emoji. The babysitter arrives and says, "Don't worry about a thing. We're going to have a great time. Go enjoy your dinner." You and your partner pile into your car and head off to a lovely dinner and time alone. Just the two of you, with no interruptions, no worries, no concerns, other than what appetizer will you agree to split tonight? Can you picture that? Have you done that lately? That is merely a fairy tale to a rare parent. For my friends with kids in typical health, this might be a fairy tale too, but theirs is like Cinderella, where everything is magical and your only concern is that it will end at midnight. For rare parents, it's more like the fairy tales where you start to worry that maybe you didn't do your due diligence on that nice lady with the house made of candy. The few times I have gone out on a date with my spouse after having our rare daughter, they were fraught with, what if she doesn't stop crying? What if they can't get her to eat? What if she chokes? Oh, did you remind the sitter that the kid has started doing daredevil stuff? And she really needs to watch for that. Other rare parent friends of mine have even more concerns. Can the sitter do that tube feed? Oh, did we tell her that our kid needs medicine X exactly at 8 p.m.? And on and on and on. You see, rare parents have more than just, can this person keep my kids safe and alive, to think about when attempting to find a sitter. We need some extraordinary abilities in our sitters, not just Laurie Strode super babysitter skills. This is more Nanny McPhee level stuff. The list of skills a rare parent is seeking in a sitter is lengthy, and that drastically reduces the pool of possible candidates to a mere puddle. Half of the time, after a sitter hears the list of requirements, she backs out faster than Beyonce opting out of a Destiny's Child group text. The other half of the time, they stop returning your calls and texts at all, like I'm a tech bro trying to sell them on Bitcoin. And doing this song and dance over and over every time you need childcare is so exhausting that you eventually just give up. Date nights are basically a non-existent thing for rare parents. And if you do manage to find that perfect, miraculous Mary Poppins person who you can entrust your kid to, you spend the entire time you're out worrying and thinking about your kid. So you end up coming home more stressed out than when you left. Which, coincidentally, is also why me time is not a thing for rare parents. We need help. Yeah, we need help up here, but also for real help. Do you want to be my babysitter? I can pay you in Bitcoin. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, we're not complaining, just explaining.